Hello, everybody. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. My name is Sarah Oshesky, and I am the lead dietitian at Kelly's Choice Nutritional Company. A little bit about us. We're based out of Skaneateles, New York. We've been around for 10 years now, which is super exciting and super cool. We're a team of dietitians who promote population health, and we are real people who promote eating real food. So we specialize in weight loss, we specialize in GI disorders, counseling, nutrition counseling, and sports nutrition, school nutrition, all of that stuff through private practice. We are actually now also providers for Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, Empire, Cigna MVP. So you can actually get your nutrition counseling private practice visits covered by your insurance, which is super, super cool. So today I'm going to get started. I'm going to share my screen now and we're going to get into our topic. And this is actually one of my favorite topics to talk about because we don't really get to talk about it much. I talk about most of the same things every day, but farm to fork in the Northeast region is not a common topic. So I'm really excited to jump in and share all this information with you guys. So we'll start off with some fast facts so you guys can get a little bit of background information of what we're getting into. And then I'll explain to you what actually farm to fork is. So in 2015, it was the top restaurant trend. Also, a good thing to know is that most ingredients in North America are traveling over 1,500 miles before they're actually getting to the consumer. That's leading to tons of issues such as not having as fresh foods, it's not as sustainable, the foods aren't lasting as long, and it's costing a lot of money. So that's why I love this topic, because when we really focus on doing things like this, it can save us a lot of time, money, effort, and it can help with the environment as well. So the top capital for farm to fork in the entire country is actually in Sacramento, California. Another fun fact. But good news is that here in New York State, we are actually considered a strong agriculture producer. So we use over 25% of our total land towards farmland, which is absolutely amazing. So what is farm to fork? It's also known as farm to table. So it's a movement that we're trying to really get and promote in, where it's promoting the consumption of locally sourced foods. So what is considered local? It typically has to be within about 100 miles. So much, much different than those 1,500 miles that we originally talked about, where it's coming from right now on average. So consider where you're purchasing your foods. What factors influence that decision? So is the source of the item a factor? A lot of people don't think about it, right? We jump in our cars, we go to the grocery store, sometimes every week, sometimes a couple of times a week, and we're not thinking about where are these foods actually coming from. And it's super, super important. And in the next slide, I'm going to jump into why that is. So another important thing to know is this term we're going to use today called lacivore. It's a term for people who consume mostly locally produced food. So we love that. It's absolutely amazing. Why is it so important? Why are we even talking about this tonight? So the benefits of eating local. One, you're you're supporting your local economy, which is amazing, right? And then what we all love is the food is going to be much fresher, it's going to taste better, and it's going to last longer. Most of the cases also, you'll notice when you're going to these farmer markets, it's going to be more affordable than you would see when you go to the grocery store and you try to buy a pack of tomatoes or raspberries or anything like that. And then lastly, it's obviously makes sense, right? It's environmentally sustainable as well. So now we're going to go through each season and what is the best produce to buy in each season. And the reason for that being is because it's being farmed in that area during this season. It's freshest in this season. So in spring, we really want to focus on those leafy vegetables from your spinach. You can see there's peas on here, asparagus, romaine lettuce is best to get in the spring, as well as parsley and basil. So those are going to be the main ones that you want to focus on in the spring. The green that occurs in the springtime should be represented by the greens on your plate. So that's my big tip for you in springtime. Now we're going to jump into summer, where we actually are. Yay, we all love summertime. We're on summer vacation from school. Absolutely amazing. So in summer, we want to stick with light, cooling foods. And I always tell my patients, and they all agree with me, it's the easiest to eat, healthiest in the summer. And as you can see here, there's tons of there's a wide variety of fruits and vegetables that you can pick from strawberries to peaches, plums are on here, grapes, and then getting into veggies like your broccoli, cauliflower, and summer squash. Summer squash is personally my favorite to make of all time. It's important to note that when we're grilling our vegetables, we want to make sure we're using the right oils. You want to use, my recommendation is avocado oil. And the reason for that being is when you use certain oils, as soon as they hit a certain smoke point, they turn into a trans fat. Trans fats are actually directly correlated with heart disease. So that's something that we want to totally avoid completely in our diet. In order for avocado oil to turn into a trans fat, it doesn't have to hit until 520 degrees. If you're cooking with butter, it turns into a trans fat at 300 degrees. And if you're cooking with olive oil, it actually turns into a trans fat at 375 degrees. So make sure when we're cooking our veggies this summer, we're using that proper temperature oil and the proper oil. And again, my recommendation would definitely be avocado oil. It's super easy to get and affordable. So now jumping into the fall, our next season. So as you can see, there's lots of like orange vegetables in here, which is a ton of fun. So in the fall, we turn towards kind of those more warming autumn harvest foods. We see a lot of apple picking in the fall, carrots, sweet potatoes, onions, and garlic. So we want to emphasize the more warming spices, which that could include ginger, mustard seeds, peppercorns, all really good spices to add into our fall tasting foods. And then we're going to end with winter. So winter foods are my favorite. It's a great time to make soups, and you can incorporate all these different vegetables into your soup. So we're turning even more towards those warming foods. So we want to make sure that we're incorporating all animal foods fall into the warming categories, including fish, chicken, beef, and lamb. And also, so do most of the root vegetables. So that's going to include carrots, potatoes, squash, onions, and garlic. So how are we going to shop locally? So one, we're going to start off by the easiest. Check out those local farmer markets. They're so, especially in the summer, I make that a goal of most of my patients. Check out those local farmer markets, but you can do it in the winter months as well. But especially now, that's where you're going to see them mostly popped up. And then going to farm stands or farm-based stores or food companies. Also getting in with a trained eye, supermarkets, all really good ways to shop locally. So our challenges, what's stopping us from not going to these locally sourced food options? It's not as convenient. It can require time to identify the origin of food, so you may not even be aware of where the food's coming from. So the lack of an available option for a staple food that you may really enjoy. And it's going to require patience and diligence with proper storage and preparation techniques to extend local eating throughout those colder months. So storage practices that are super important. We want to do the cool storage items about 45 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. You want to store these items in the basement in an unheated room or in your garage. So there's a list of those there, from dried beans to green corn, garlic, onion, potato, pumpkin, shallot, and winter squash. And then the cold storage items. So these are going to be stored in about 32 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit. You want to store these in a second refrigerator for at least 2 months, from beets, apples, cabbage, carrots, celery, parsnip, pears, and turnips. So the following foods are actually commonly grown in the Northeast and can be used as staples in your household. So you can actually get these foods locally. And there's a whole list right here, from wheat, rye, oats. So if you want to do overnight oats, flax seeds, they're loaded with fiber. Same with barley, different types of oil, such as canola oil and corn oil, and even buckwheat. So today's healthy snack, these are some quick healthy tips. I want you to check the food labels and stickers for the origin. See where your food is coming from. Make yourself aware of where your food is coming from. Also, a fun thing, now that it's summer and we're in summer mode, teachers, take your kids to the farmer's market. It's a really great way to bond with your kids, and also you can get healthy locally grown foods. Also utilizing those local grains for a unique flavor to your dishes that we talked about. Trying out the green thumb and plant a garden or participate in a community garden. So actually have a garden right in your own backyard. And then the last tip is going to be explore different storage techniques to extend availability throughout those colder months. So going back to this slide, where we're talking about those storage practices. So feel free to take a picture of this if you want to, if you're having a hard time memorizing those storage practices, so you can have it available for you when the colder months come along. So I want to thank you guys so much for coming and listening today. I really appreciate it. Again, reach out if you have any questions. We're always here for you. You can reach out to info@kellyschoice.org, or you can give us a call at 315-710-0080. Get signed up for some nutrition counseling, get logged into our platform where you can track your food and your metrics and message our dietitians. We would love to get you guys involved. So again, thank you so much for listening today. And I hope you guys have an amazing month of July, and I will see you guys back in August. Thanks. Bye.